Yeah.
After sleeping over this, it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
So how was
Wonderful.
your class?
It was awesome. It was very good. We
Uh,
had all the fun. We stretched like,
yeah,
and then it went.
I'm recording something and then I'm gonna go up and join Edward in the gym.
Okay. We'll meet you tomorrow in the morning.
Yeah.
I'll text
Yes.
you the details for the timing and everything.
Okay, very good
In
then.
the program, the morning program, and we'll let you know.
Okay, looking forward to it.
Appreciate it. Thank
Good.
you. Enjoy. Have a good night.
You too. Good night.
All right, then. Bye bye.
Okay, so I want to talk about. I was really upset earlier. Um, I was first. I was really excited to go to Unity Park and see how they renovated the palace and the lion. Everything about it was, the lions. Although now I know why the lions were the black-haired lions, what they call them, were separated, or they looked like they were angry or mad at each other. They were looking at each other like they had just had an argument or something. Like, are y'all mad at each other or something? So, the oh my god, it's really dry here in Ethiopia. Like you can see, my skin looks really dry. My lips are cracking really dry. We came during, I guess, dry season. And dry season is also approaching in Ghana too. So, but let me just apply something to my lips because they feel really dry. But you know, I when I saw the statue of Emperor Selassie facing, he's turned and he's facing the European visitors, and I was angry, but I didn't let my anger show. I was just like, wow, look at all your ribbons, your decor. And I wanted to stand there as like a representation or of Menen, Empress Menen. I wanted to stand there as a representation of, we did it. Like he kept his eyes with that. The arrangement of those pieces, I don't know what their intentions may have been behind it, but what I saw was um, Selassie keeping his eyes on the enemy, keeping his eyes on our enemy, and his head, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And so at first I was really upset to see, like, why do they have all these pictures of um, the Queen of England? I don't even like to say her name. Why do they have all these pictures of her here? And with the big debate about them returning the diamond that was stolen from South Africa. Yes, I say stolen because of, when you take something um, with uh, evil intentions, or I'm sorry, with in a conniving, cunning type of way, when you manipulate people out of their riches, then it's, to me, it's thievery. Um, so with the discussions and everything that's going on about, now that the ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Now that that has happened, they need to return the diamond back to South Africa that was held in her scepter for all these years. And um, yeah, it was just that constant glaring eyes of the statue of Emperor Selassie on his enemies, and me coming there, like, to be in the peripheral of the statue, and to break the glance or to break the stare, or to say, we did it. We ding dong, the wicked witch is dead, and her wicked ass husband is also dead. There's a lot of controversy behind um, why um, the president of Ethiopia decided that she would turn around and go back home if they weren't going to send her proper um, a proper convoy to come and take her to go and see a woman that do you think that we really wanted to go see? We really just wanted to we want to make sure she is dead. Okay, let me not say that. You know what I want to say. But all the African leaders that piled up in that bus and didn't take a stand and say, no, I'm tired of y'all thinking that you can just treat us any old kind of way. This, you are not going to bring me below my level of royalty or my level of significance and just smush me into a bus with other African leaders when the rest of your European leaders were all given proper acknowledgement and a convoy to take them to the Queen's funeral or whatever. Anyway, I don't want to rumble too much on about that, but so it is 2020. I'm sorry, it's 2022 and 1922, exactly 100 years ago, when I believe when the okay, I need to get my dates correct. So before I even mention that, let me check the dates on there, and I'll post what I was gonna say once I post the dates. Okay, because Ethiopia uses a different calendar system, there's a 7 year difference, and I realized that the 100 years that I was thinking about Emperor Menelik II, who was victorious over the Battle of Adwa, I realized that he died in 1913, but I couldn't clarify if it was 1913 Ethiopia time or was it 1922 westernized time. So yeah, you can go and look into that and get clarity on the year, but that's why I brought up the 100 years, because in my mind, it's been 100 years according to westernized time. I also wanted to include some maps of the original Ethiopia or Abyssinia before artificial borders were created, and there was no Djibouti. So you can take a look at some of those, and yeah, let's get into this tribute. What's up, love? So I want to pay tribute to Empress Menen. It is exactly 60 years since her transition, and in order to pay tribute, I want to start off by reading her speech. Now, the thing is, this speech was not published, so this is my way of paying tribute to her. And of course, she did not read it in English, but this is the only language that my tongue understands, and we all know the historical reasons behind that, so please don't hold that against me. But I do want to take this day and honor Empress Menen after returning back from the Unity Park and seeing some of the things that I saw and I was a little disappointed with. I made peace with why things are arranged the way that they are, so you can see a part of my little. Empress Menen's speech can best be understood in the context of what is known to history as the Scramble for Africa. During the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a number of European nations, including England, France, and Portugal, secured their control over most of the territories on the African continent through war and bloodshed. This colonial territory expanded their power and influence while benefiting their economic interests at home, with no regard, of course, for the interests of the African people whose lands were invaded. These European nations arbitrarily divided the African continent among themselves, drawing their artificial borders between African countries. And I have a song about artificial borders, artificial thrones. Poem about artificial borders, artificial thrones. Empress Menen's speech in 1935, sometimes it says 1928. So on September 13th, 1928, Empress Menen gave a speech to the World Women's Association, reasoning with them on the aggression of Italy. And the speech can be found, Empress, okay, I'll leave a link in the bio, or I'll leave a link to it. Okay, so I am pleased to present my speech to all world women. When Italy viciously and unjustly attacked our people and country, the World Women Association supported us to. Now, I've seen a different version of this speech, so let me hold on a second. When Her Majesty, Empress Menen was scheduled to deliver a radio message to the international community about the prospects of an unjust attack on Ethiopia by the forces of fascism, the world was already teetering on the brink of destruction. Only a few months before, the fate of the major Western powers had been sealed at the League of Nations, when His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I delivered a prophetic message about the prospects of a Second World War if his words were not heeded. Newspapers of the time, which we have provided on the sidebar, I'll leave a link, recount the measures that fascists and their sympathizers took to try and silence the Queen of Queens from delivering a final warning to the nations which might prevent the coming tribulations of war, the scramble for Africa. They would soon join a long line of would-be conquerors in finding out that subjecting Ethiopia to foreign rule would not be easy. The legendary Battle of Adwa, where the Italians were defeated handedly by Ethiopia in 1896, was the result of that war. Ethiopia's victory caused great embarrassment to Italy and fostered lasting resentment between the two nations. This was written by Mosiah Tafari in August 2018. So I want to go on now to try to read Empress Menen's speech. I hope I can do it justice, or just honoring her and paying tribute to her. By the time of Empress Menen's speech in 1935, this scramble resulted in the colonization of every nation on the African continent except for one, Ethiopia. The ancient Davidic kingdom, saved from conquest, some would say by divine intervention, I would definitely agree, had managed to repel both European and Arab attempts at invasion for thousands of years. So this was the broadcast that was originally intended, that they destroyed or prevented from being broadcasted. So Empress Menen speaks today through me to the nations. And I understand that this speech is outdated, but with the war with Russia and the passing of the Queen of England and everything that's still kind of the aftermath of colonism, I feel like it still resonates. And so I want to broadcast it on my channel and through my frequencies. So powerful armies are preparing to invade our country under the fallacious pretext of bringing civilization to our pastoral Pacific people living near nature and in communion with God. May heaven save us from such a civilization. That prayer alone. Under the grave, painful circumstances in which we live, and in the presence of the threat of war weighing on us, we think women throughout the world have the imperative duty of making their voices heard, expressing their feelings. In all latitudes, climes, and countries, women are inspired by the same spirit, the love of peace. War has always been the greatest of evils to overwhelm humanity. Whatever their native land, women should reprove brute force and detest war, which destroys homes and results in the killing of husbands, brothers, and sons. Italian women who are mothers like the Ethiopians suffer at the thought of the infinite and parable evil to all women of the universe should therefore unite their voices to demand firmly that the horrors of useless bloodshed and accumulated ruin should be avoided. Ethiopia is not actuated by any spirit of violence. She only aspires to peace. In the quarrel which is forced on us, the European conscience is pure and undisturbed. Ethiopians have always reserved a fraternal welcome for foreigners who have come here to labor honestly. Imperialistic ambition has risen in the case of one of our neighbors, with whom we only with to live peace who I think it's supposed to say with whom we only will to live peacefully and have no desire for conquest. We would not dare doubt that the desire for peace guiding the International Association of Women would exert an influence on all those destinies presiding over humanity. We earnestly pray to God that He must assist them in their difficult task. We still desire to believe in the efficacy and success of their efforts to that end and shall hope for the maintenance of peace. But if, despite our prayers, war breaks out, we women will know how to accomplish the painful, noble task of dressing wounds and alleviating as far as possible the cruel evils that war engenders. So for me, Europeans brought weapons to Africa. We were already fighting in spirit. We fought spiritual warfare. We fought a lot of things spiritually, and I believe that love does conquer all. So it is my belief that even the violence and I know maybe the violence and everything had to take place, but ultimately love won. Love conquers all. So that's why I want to share this speech, because that's what Empress Menen stood for. She stood for love being the cure to the evils. And my daughter is messaging me right now. Hi, Mama. Oh, my sweetie pie. Okay, so I'm going to end this, but I just want to say that this still resonates with me today, because with the passing of the Queen of England and, ding dong, the Wicked Witch is dead.
Dravidians, dark and lovely Ethiopians, dark and lovely Trinidadians.